Shalom, welcome to our Parsha share. It's Parshas Vaetchanun, Tafshin Pei Dalid. So Parshas Vaetchanun, we could basically just talk about anything because there's everything in this Parsha. So we might as well focus on the most important thing, I think, which is Shema. We also have the pasuk Ata Hareis L'das. And then I want to just tie it all into something that we say every day. Ve'ostichli le'olam, as we're putting on tefillin. Ve'ostichli b'tzedek of mishpat of chesed of rachamim. Ve'ostichli be'emunah v'yadat es Adonai. And tie it into that. Bezrat Hashem. So, we've got 4 levels of emunah. We've spoken about this before, but this is Ikar Karim, so it's worth going through again. So I've always taught we have 3 levels of emunah, but I understood after reading a mimer from the Lubavitcher Rebbe called Va'atad Saver that there's actually 4 levels of emunah. I've given them my own names, okay? So these are my invention, but they're helpful. They're helpful, so you can remember them. Okay, there's the lowest level. I've called emunah d'shtus. Then there's emunah d'shmiya, the emunah of hearing. Emunah d're'iyah, the emunah of seeing, and emunah d'yediyah, the emunah of yediyah, of knowing. Okay, so they're not difficult concepts particularly. We'll get them understand. They're quite straightforward. Yeah. Emunah d'shtus is what we call blind faith. Yeah. Why do you believe in Yoshki? Not you. Why does somebody believe in Yoshki? And they say, look, there's no, I can't talk to you about that. It's just, I believe. Okay. That's ridiculous. Okay. And you could believe in anything you want. And people do believe in anything they want. So that's emunah d'shtus. It's just shtuyot. And that's not for a Jew. It's not for a goy. It's not for no one. It's not for any human being. Okay. That's just ridiculous. And you can believe literally in anything. And people do. That's emunah d'shtus. Then we've got emunah d'shmiya. Emunah d'shmiya is the emunah of the Umois Ha'olam. The nations of the world and Klal Yisrael have a chiyuv in emunah d'shmiya. Again, like I said, I made these names up, but you'll understand. Emunah d'shmiya is intelligent emunah. Like to say, you would say, I believe that the sun is going to come up tomorrow morning from the east. Yeah? Do you know? You can't, you would probably bet on it, but do you know? You believe. You believe very, very strongly because it's done it forever since you've known. Could it not do that? There have been times in history when we look in, say for Yeshua, when the sun stood still, where maybe that won't happen. But that's called emunah d'shmiya, meaning I've got good reason to believe in this. And that could go from I've got good reason to believe in this to I've got insanely good reason to believe in this, which would be like the sun rising in the east. Yeah. In fact, I've got no reason not to believe in this. That would be very compelling emunah d'shmiya. Okay. And that is the emunah, that is human emunah. So as such, that is shaykh to the Umois Ha'olam, to the nations. And that's also shaykh to the Yidden, because we're also human beings, as we know. We're human beings with a neshama. So that's what Aisha Torah is, builds their worldview on, at least initially, which is the whole discovery seminar that I highly recommend somebody to do if you haven't done it, where they go through, the 7 wonders of Jewish history, and then they've got the different Bible code things. Then you've got the beautiful story of Esther, and then you've got the mass revelation. You've got a lot of reasons. That's the key word. A lot of reasons to believe that the Torah is from Shemayim. In fact, I've got much more reason to believe that the Torah is from Shemayim than the opposite, that it's not from Shemayim. Much more reason. And that's called emunah d'shmiya. And that is accessible. The better your mind, the more accessible that is to you. The deeper you understand, the national revelation, the more real that emunah is to you. And you can give your life up for that emunah. People give their life up for those beliefs, the beliefs that they have. People give their life up for emunah d'shtus as well. But that's a very It's not a holy, it's not, there's nothing holy about it. There's nothing hailing about that whatsoever. Yeah, it's intelligent, it's logical. Holy is not of this world. That's very much of this world. That's called Amunah de Shmiya. Yeah, Shmiya, because hearing is the idea of our bina working. Yeah, it's our cognitive analytic mind. And that's Amunah de Shmiya. Now we have a Amunah de Re'iyah, which for many years I thought was the highest level of Amunah, but I was mistaken. Amunah de Re'iyah is exclusively for a Yid, and Kal V'chomer Amunah de Yediyah. Amunah de Re'iyah is the experience of the lower levels of your soul looking at the essence of your soul, which is Echad Yachid and Yuchad with Rabbeinu Shalom. Don't try to understand this because it's not really understandable. Understanding stops at Amunah de Shmiya. Amunah de Re'iyah basically is that you're aware of the fact that you are absolutely bound up with Hashem. The lower levels of your soul are looking at the essence of your soul, which is one with God, Chelek Elokayim Mimal, and that is a faith that is almost unshakable, and that a Jew will give up his life for that faith, and he'll give up his life when it's not, when Yiddishkeit is not his. He isn't. That's what the Rebbe talks about in Tanya in the 18th and 19th prakim, when he's talking about the secular Jew giving up his life for Hashem. You're obviously not using your analytical mind when you're giving your life up for Hashem if you're secular, because if you were to make the cheshbon, you'd be like, it's like, I said this the other day to somebody, what would you do if somebody said to you, I want you to denounce Yoshki now, or I'll kill you? What would you do? You would immediately denounce Yoshki. Shalom Blazer. We just asked the question, what would you do, Eliezer, if someone came up to you, and they put a gun to your head, and they said, I want you to denounce Prophet Muhammad now, or I'll end your life? You would denounce him immediately, and you would
obviously.
Yeah. The Havdil, that's the Pella of, that would make sense. But when you when someone points a gun at a secular Jew and says to him, your God or your life, that's analogous al Pisvara to me saying, well, I'll die for Muhammad. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But we know that you didn't do that, and they've done that throughout the ages. And that's called Amunah de Re'iyah. Yeah, that comes from the Amunah de Re'iyah. That is when the lower chalakim of your soul are looking at the yechida of the soul. They're looking at the essence of the soul. And it's undeniable. It's undeniable. And it's a deep, deep emunah that is only shaykh to a yid. And that held us, and this is the chiddush of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, that held us very well throughout all of the Russian Gullus and through all of Eastern Europe, when we were going through all the craziness in Eastern Europe. Yeah, that emunah was enough, and it got us through. But the Rebbe says in this Maimah called Ata Titzaver that when we came to America, it wasn't enough. That emunah got compromised when we came to America and we stopped having Stalin standing above us with a whip. And instead we had all the Americans with smiley faces saying, come on guys, be as frum as you like, it's fine. Gesundheit hate, open up shuls, create entire cities dedicated to Yiddishkeit. Gesundheit hate, as long as you're not against the state and you're paying your taxes and etc., you do as you wish. We love you. Yeah. Then he said that faith, Emunah D'Ra'iyah wasn't enough. And we needed to go to the essence of the soul, which wasn't the lower chalakim looking at the yechida of the soul. It was actually his kashrus to the yechida itself, mamash. That's what I'm calling emunah d'yediyah. Yediyah is yada adam yada eschava, that it's the echad. It's not looking at that place where you are one with Rabbeinu Shalom. It's being that. It's having identified with that. And that's the difference between knowing something through seeing and knowing something through feeling. I'll explain. The Rambam says that who are Yodeya, who are Deya, who are Yedua. Yeah? He is the one that knows, he is the power of knowing, and he is what is known. By him, it's all one. And that's all very, it sounds like very, very enigmatic what that actually means. It's quite simple. When you think about what you're looking at a screen right now, yeah? So there's you, there's the koyach ha're'iyah, the ability to see, and then there's the screen. Three things. There's you, the one who sees. Second thing, the screen. The third thing, which is the thing that is known. In Hashem, that's all said to be one. Okay? So that's emunah d'ra'iyah, where the Jew, the lower chalakim of the neshama, are looking at the chelik of the neshama that is called the chelik elikai mimal, or the essence of the neshama called the yechida, which is one, and it's echad yachid and miyuchad with Hashem. It's mamash one with Hashem. So that's the looking. There's me, there's the ability to see, and then there's what I'm seeing. The idea of when you're cold is there's not you, the ability of knowing cold, and then the coldness. You will say, I'm cold. That's a moshel that Hashem gave us for the idea of knowing something with das, where there isn't me, the ability of knowing, and the thing that I'm knowing. There's just one thing, cold. I'm cold.
But that's still you thinking thoughts of coals.
No, you can think about the thoughts of cold, but the feeling of cold, it's also the same as pleasure. When you try and get your child, when your child's eating a chocolate yogurt, yeah, a young child is eating a chocolate yogurt, try and convince him that experience, I don't want to get that will take us off track, what I was about to say, but that experience is the experience of pleasure is not a me and the ability to feel pleasure and the pleasure. There's the pleasure. I'm not talking about the actual yogurt, yeah, where there's the ability to taste, and then there's the yogurt. That is three things. But the experience of pleasure is one with you. It's very difficult to talk about these things. But the moshel that the Baal Tanya gives in the later Prakim of Tanya, in the mid-40s or something, is that idea of being cold, where you're just cold. You're cold. There's a sensation of cold. It's not an understanding of something outside of you.
But Shmuel, sorry, the whole bathroom book is to get us to disconnect from our bodily sensations and our desires and our thoughts and recognize there's me experiencing that.
That, yes. And that's why it's a moshel. No, I understand what you're saying, but there's the actual. You're right. The experiences come and go, but this is why we're talking about the Indian of Yediyah by Yediyah Hashem. Yeah, this is a reality of the fact that your neshama is the Rabbeinu Shalom. There's not the Rabbeinu Shalom and your neshama. At the highest level of your neshama, it's a yichud mamash. So,
but I'm experiencing cold that's only to the trained person who has not learned to disconnect from their body as their identity.
It's not a perfect marshal. You're right. You're right. It's not a perfect marshal, but it's more intimate than me looking at my screen. That's the point. That's a very good question, Shkoyer. Appreciate that. You clarified that for me.
That's why I get paid to be here.
Don't tell anyone. Okay, so we've got these 4 levels. Yeah, let's plug this into Shema because it's mamash moyodic. It's a game changer to see this in Shema. It's quite quick. So we've got Amunah Deshtus, which is for Tembelim, and it's Loshen Shtus from Loshen Shoita, from Loshen Shita. It's the Indian of giving yourself giving yourself some more chizuk. So that's Amunah Deshtus is ridiculous. Yeah, that's called blind faith. That's for idiots. That's for idiots. And the Roiv of the world. Then we've got Amunah Deshmiya, which is intelligent faith, which is the faith of the book. What's it called? The Return of the God Hypothesis. That is the most amazing book to give you Amunah Deshmiya. Yeah, you walk away believing in an intelligent creator when you read that book. It's incredibly compelling. Very worth the 600 odd pages of slog that it is. Then you've got Amunah De'Re'iyah, which we're now in the world of non-human belief. This is super rational. This is the conscious halakim of your soul that you're aware of, looking at the essence of your soul. And that is a very high level of Amunah. But then there's the ultimate level of Amunah, which is Amunah Diyadia, where there isn't you having Amunah. There's just Amunah. The you and the Amunah is one thing. That's that, and that's the level of Amunah that's necessary of us in our generation, where there is no Stalin hanging over us. We've got to pull out. If you want to really live in your Yiddishkeit in this door, we need to be accessing that level of Amunah, that intimate oneness with our purpose of with again why we are, not what we are. Like Rav Manis said, I keep thinking about that. To be miskasher to the why you are, not the what you are. That's what we're talking about here. Where the mitzvahs are not that's the ultimate level of lishma, where the mitzvahs are being performed. Not you're doing the mitzvahs lishma, you're doing the mitzvah in the way that Hashem would do the mitzvah because they're His mitzvahs. The mitzvahs are being performed through you. That's the highest level of lishma, where it's like the Rebbeinu Shalom himself doing his own mitzvahs. Okay, so that's Ata Hareis Ladas, yeah, which is the reason Ata Hareis Ladas is Ata Haresa. I showed you with vision Ladas. The goal is to bring that in mamash and to be machaber, not to just keep looking at that chelik of your soul. It's to actually become that. It's not the chelik of your soul. It's to stop looking at the essence of your soul and to become identified with the essence of your soul. That's ata hareis ladas. Ki Hashem hu elokim einod milvado. You can plug the rest in. But you saw so as to know. See, seeing itself is not much. It's not when you say it's not much, that's wrong. It's the first, it's infinitely important, but it's only the first step. The avoider is the das. How do we get to das? The Mishnah tells us, Im ein bina ein das. Ein das ein bina. How do you get to das? To bina. Going through it again and again, getting it clear, extrapolating, schmoozing it out with your friends, giving share in it, listening to other people talking about it, writing it down, seeing it from this perspective, seeing it from that perspective. That gives you das. That's the avoider of bina. The avoider of his boinanus, loshen bina, which gives you the das. So listen to this now, how we can read Kriya Shema, and then we'll finish off with the pasuk with the tefillin that we do. It's so special. So this is a big question. Everything we've just said leaves you with a big question mark on Shema, because that's like Amunah D'Shmiya. Shema is the paradigmatical statement of the Yid, but we just learned that Shmir is that's the lowest level of that. That's intelligent Emunah. That's for the nations and for our human element. Yeah. But the giveaway is the first three words that are not spoken in Shema. Kael Melech Ne'eman. Loshen Amen. Loshen Emunah. So this is really what Shema is, yeah? And this is the reason why we cover our eyes with our hand, because this is kaf. This is the kaf. See, why would you need to cover your eyes? Just close your eyes. Why do you have to put your hand over your eyes? Oh, so you don't look, yeah? So I wanted to say that kaf is the letter kaf, which is keser, which is the one above yud. We've said this before. So really, the avodah kriya shema is looking into the essence of your soul, mamash. That's represented by kaf yad. So you're looking at the emunah. That's Kel Melech Ne'eman. Shema Yisrael Shem Hashem Echad. We have two large letters, yeah, the ayin and the daled. Adis, which is re'iyah. Adis is always re'iyah. There is no Adis without re'iyah. Yeah. So that's the inyan of now we've got Chochmah and Bina. Yeah, which is re'iyah and shmiyah. But so interesting is Adis, Loshan Aid, ayin daled, is the opposite of das. Because it is the opposite of das. Seeing something isn't knowing it. That's why we were over in the Chet Egel, because we saw Ata Haresa Ledas. So ayin daled is the beginning of daled ayin. So the ayin daled is the histaklis, is the gazing at the aleph mem nun, the emunah above, and through the process of Shema, we turn the ayin daled into the daled ayin. That's the avodah of das. That's bringing it into our das and identifying with that highest level of emunah. Now, where do we go? That now brings us in to v'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha v'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol moedecha. That's the emotions. Once we've gone through the keser, which is the emunah, yeah, then we've processed it through the chochmah and the bina, and we've now come to das. That's v'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha v'chol levavecha shnei yitzurecha, which is ava and yira. That's v'ahavta. That's now the emotions. So we've gone from the seichel through das. Now we have the emotions. Yeah. What do the emotions boil out and express themselves into? Into machshava. Yeah, that's the inyan of machshava. Because we say ki adava what is it? Ki koyev adava
Korav alecha hadavar me'od. B'ficha u'b'levavecha la'asotzo.
Yeah, so b'levavecha is the inyan of machshavas. So this level, is now bringing that into machshava. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam. V'shivtecha b'veisecha v'lecha v'derech shochcha v'komecha is dibor. Yeah? Ukshatam la'ois al yedecha v'hayu l'totofo is beinenecha is maisa. Yeah? And then we finish off. Chsavtam almas azois beisecha u'visharecha is your maisa going out further. That's now your maisa. Once you've done with your arms, don't stop at your arms. Now be makadosh your car, be makadosh your house, be makadosh all your businesses, be makadosh everything, all of your expansion, the whole thing.
The gates of your house means where your house now reaches the world.
Oh, even better, beautiful. The place that and then everyone will see the mezuzah, and that's being makadosh the Rishus Rabbim, even mamash. So we see the whole story, the whole story of Yiddishkeit is contained in Shema. Is we're looking at the Emunah, Kel Melech Ne'eman, which is silent, which we don't even say. That's too sacred to be said. It's interesting why we say it when we're by ourselves. But otherwise it's just there. Your eyes just go past it, yeah. And then we go through Shmiya and Adus, which is the Chokhmah and the Bina, that brings it down into the Das, which flips the Ayin and the Daled around until it's mamash part of us, mamash. That's how we become, that's how we identify with it. Think about it, talk about it. Mamash. We talk about this, all we talk about is this, no? All of us, whenever we schmooze, this is all we talk about. And that's how it becomes mamash one with you. And that boils down into Ava and Yira, which then expresses itself into Machshava, into Dibur, and into Ma'aser. That's creation.
How does Baruch Shem kavod fit in?
You have to think about that.
Maybe that's Das. Maybe that's the Das.
That's Das. I would think that is Das. Yeah, when it becomes part of that is the identification with it on a human level. But that's not. I was giving a shiur on Va'etchanun, so I didn't need to deal with that. But anyway, so
Kel Melech Ne'aman is not in Ve'etchanun
either. Shkoyach. Okay, we should be zeicher to Kriya Shema, Emes La'amitoi, and all the Heilige Yidden should stop having to say it they should stop having to say it in the battlefield, and they should start saying it in the shul with all the other Yidden. That's where Kriya Shema is not to be said when you've got a bullet coming towards you. Kriya Shema is to be said in shul, so you can go out of there and then spend your life serving, as opposed to have to give up your life. That's what Kriya Shema is about. That's what Hashem. Okay, shul be zeicher. And so, as is my style, I forgot to tie it back into the pasuk that I said I would. The pasuk is from Hosea. Ve'vastichli le'olam, ve'vastichli b'tzedek u'mishpat v'chesed u'rachamim, ve'vastichli be'emunah v'yidates Hashem, which is what we say when we put on tefillin. So the way we put on tefillin is we start from the outside of our finger and we work our way in. So ve'vastich li le'olam is referring to the Emunah de Shmiya, the Loilam, the world. We said that is the love of that is the avoider of the world, the natural Emunah. Then we've got the Erastichli B'Tzedek of Mishpat of Chesed of Rachamim. Those are the midas of Yisrael. Yeah, we're going lechasadim, we're Rachmanim, with Tzadikim. That's the midas of Yisrael. So that's getting closer to the hand itself, closer to us, the person. And then we finish Va'erastichli be'emunah, v'yadat es Hashem. And the final madrega, when we touch ourselves, that's Va'erastichli be'emunah, v'yadat es Hashem, when we know Hashem, meaning that we've become one with Hashem. And that's also da lifnei mi'ata oimed, meaning know the one that you're davening. No, really, that lifnei mi'ata oimed means, what could be said to mean, merge, identify with the face of the one before whom you stand. Lifnei mi'ata oimed, to the face, lepanei mi'ata oimed, meaning to his inner will, to what he really wants. And when you do that, you become one mamash. Okay, we should be zocher to know exactly who we really are, as well to show that accordingly. This is a show as well.